What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Ready List video. Happy Tuesday. Hope you all have been having a great day. Another really good day today for your leading stocks. Your CRDO had a nice day today. VRT had a really nice day. GLW had a really nice day. You had a lot of relative strength names. VIAV, a name that had some really strong relative strength. Talked about CRDO. Intel, super nice move, finally getting out of its base, right? There was a lot of names today, and I can keep going. I'm gonna try to keep this video short. I didn't see too much setups that I am like really obsessed with. You're getting sort of a little washout in the after hours, or washout. You know, you're getting a nice little down movers. I still think the NQ looks fine, right? You're just digesting. You made a big move up. You're building a flag, which looks like a flag. Same thing with your ES, right? You're just pulling back into your 10 and 20 day. You haven't lost those yet. So, you know, you look at the QQQ, same thing. It's just, you know, it made a high. We're still under that. We made a big move. We're just digesting. I think it looks fine. I think chop is fine in a lot of these. Just continue to track relative strength. Avoid buying extended, specifically your semiconductors, right? I got through SOX on this list for a potential short, which we'll see. But you look at like a monthly chart, it looks absolutely ridiculous. The quarterly chart closes in 7 days. Pretty insane move this quarter. What a quarter it's been for a lot of names, specifically your semis. Your weekly's getting extended. It's just going to be like a vehicle I could possibly use, whether that's your SOXS, your SOX, or shorting the SMH. Shorting the most extended ones. If I bring up like a calendar here, I can show it. But yeah, I'm just going to go through my list here, starting off AAOI. Yes, this name does not look very appealing on a daily chart. Super choppy, right? It's just been in a sideways range for a while. You finally got back above the 50. Finally, we lost it 2 days ago, but yeah, not a bad move today above the 50, right? I will say there were some nice, you know, optic names on my relative strength list. I already brought up VIAV was pretty nice today. That was a massive move. Definitely could deserve it. I just don't like your weekly bearish engulfing. Not my favorite. I look at AAOI's weekly chart, and I mean, you didn't get a bearish engulfing. You kind of got 2 low volume weeks, or, you know, maybe not low volume, but, you know, 2 weeks where you're just kind of falling right into the 10-week. Doesn't look horrible, right? You're still building some sort of a base under this May 1st high, or whatever high in this area, right? You're definitely sideways, that's for sure. But you got a nice candle today. Could this be a next high or low? I'm just watching above today's high. Can this group really start to wake up? You know, COHR was another one that had a super nice move today. Super close to a new 52-week high. But it's right there. GLW, another relative strength name. This one that did make a new 52-week high today, I'm pretty sure. Looks like it. So, you know, there is some strength here in this group. And maybe GLW can get thrown on this list as well, right? You can do whatever you please. But, you know, I think AAOI looks fine. I don't mind the weekly chart. Maybe it could be a long above today's highs. But, you know, do I want to get myself involved in something like this? Or is it just going to fail? I think AXTI is going to be another one of your optic names. Inside day to day, to me, it looks like it maybe is going to break down or shake out. This name's hard for me because you know, it moves 15% per day. So, you know, it'll squeeze you if it really wants to. So it's hard to be shorting down here. So we'll definitely see. But AOI, I don't think it looks horrible. But I think the action recently is disgusting. You get a bearish engulfing here, a monster kill bar. Like, there's just a lot of nasty bars on the screen. So not my favorite, but it is interesting if it wants to get going. I mean, it was the leader of that group, but no longer is. So who knows? AEHR, right? I think this name is building a nice little flat top setup. It's kind of got a little flag in the last 3 to 4 days. Looks fine. I think, you know, you're, what, 10% off of a new high. Name moves 11% per day. You can get there in 1 day. So above today's high would be super interesting to me, as sort of like a higher low setup here. So super interesting for sure. You know, a weekly chart looks fine. Another one where you look at like a quarterly and it's a massive move. You know, you broke out of a base. ARM is another one where it's like, yeah, the quarterly chart looks crazy, but you broke out of a big base. And then you look at something like Intel, and I mean, this is pretty insane. Same thing though, where you're just breaking out of a base, extended, yeah, but wouldn't be buying these things pushing out up here. This is where they're going to try to trap you, but AHR I think looks good. If we can get a little bit of strength pushed back in the market, as far as like the QQQ, I think maybe AHR can do something decent. APLD here doesn't look too bad. These data center names have been kind of a mess. Just not my favorite setups, right? They've just kind of like, if you look at the WGMI, you come up to the top of the range, you reject, right? You know, you get a nice gap up, you get a nice hourly rejection. whatever it may be. But APLD, I still think you got, and it kind of looks similar to your AEHR, where you kind of build a little flat top, and you're building some sort of 4 to 5 day flag right under it. So an inside day tomorrow would be nice. Maybe try to get this name on like a washout, whatever it may be. You got a big gap here too, so can it flush to the bottom of the gap? Is it going to gap up tomorrow, and then maybe give some sort of little washout, staying above today's lows? That would be super interesting for like an inside day tomorrow. You know, the weekly chart looks fine. I think it looks good. Definitely a name to keep an eye on. NBIS obviously is one of your leaders in that NeoCloud group, and NBIS looks good too. It's just harder to buy here, a little bit more farther from the 50-day than your APLD. But I mean, if you're going to buy something, you definitely want to be paying attention to the leader. So this name still looks great to me, right? Just a little bit of pullback here would be super interesting. ARM, I talked about another one where it's like, can we get a little bit of pullback, would be super interesting. UMAC, if you want to buy an undercut and rally, right? Maybe this name could pull into June 9th's lows, undercut it, and rally back through, and maybe that could be a spot for you, right? The weekly chart still looks fine. Speaking of a weekly chart, a name I put on here is Rocket Lab, right? You're back at the highs from January 12th. Can this be a spot where, you know, we break out the base, right? The ceiling now possibly becomes the floor? Definitely looks like it could happen, right? You're down in the after hours, same thing with SpaceX, right? But you know, a lot of people probably got stopped out of this name that owned it from anywhere in here as it loses the 50. So can we undercut the 50 like we did today, and can we rally back through it? Would be super interesting. But I would just like to see a rally through the highs, the prior highs would be super interesting for me, and maybe a low risk spot can come from there. I don't want to give up on this name too much because the weekly chart still looks fine. It looks intact. It's been weak. This group has sucked. So if I were to focus on any of them, it's Rocket Lab. But I did throw SpaceX on here. I think maybe a mean reversion long side trade could be coming here very soon. I'm definitely going to watch the IPO lows for a spot, maybe just to keep an eye on. It's been a pretty quick down move in the last 3 days, so maybe a mean reversion coming. You know, if you get Rocket Lab bouncing, maybe you get SpaceX bouncing. Who knows? Maybe they're moving the opposite of each other. I don't think so. They kind of look like, you know, SpaceX comes out at IPOs. Rocket Lab kind of has some sort of a horrible little bear flag bounce, and then it just undercuts the 50. But can we get back through? That would be super interesting. And then can SpaceX sort of buy the CrowdStrike? This name has been a headache. I tried to buy this one today. Did not work, as you can see. So don't want to be stubborn with these ones because it will get ugly if you get stubborn. But, you know, you're still sideways. You're still building a nice little flat pivot, a nice sideways consolidation. Can we fake everybody out tomorrow and just push right through? That would be so fun if we can just get a little shimmy shake today and then a pushback tomorrow would be super interesting. DDOG, another one where you lose the 20-day on Thursday. You're still below it today. You kind of rejected it. I tried to get involved in this one today. Didn't really work out, but I don't think it's over yet. I would just like to see how it acts tomorrow. Maybe another tight day tomorrow, or just a push above the 20-day would be super interesting. So you can mark that through Thursday's high, or just watch the 20-day. A push through that I think would be definitely pretty interesting. But, you know, it's one of the leaders in that group. You look at a weekly chart, it's kind of just been falling. You know, you don't want to just jump in front of a falling knife, which is a lot of charts right now. But when the bounce comes, if you can find a super tight risk spot into support, undercut and rally, support gap, whatever it may be, left side low, whatever. I just think this name definitely want to keep on a Frog. This name hasn't even lost its 10-day, right? While DDOG is below it. This name has been acting great, right? You're building some sort of little flag. You kind of been sideways here on the 20, double inside day. I don't know how I'd buy this one, but I think an inside day tomorrow would be super nice. Like maybe the market's down, pulling back a little bit or something, and this thing just holding up, continuing to. Was red today, so it is what it is. But, you know, it's not doing anything too wrong, not doing anything where I'm obsessed with it, but it doesn't look bad, right? A nice inside week. Looks like it maybe could get going here soon. So maybe a push out of this flag would be super interesting. FTNT, you're building a high tight flag. You're 6.5 ATRs from your 50 SMA, so maybe just a little bit extended in the short term here, but it's a high type flag. It looks fine. I think it's super interesting above this Thursday's high, right? That's kind of your pivot now. So a push through that would be super interesting. Can we get going? And then just over, you know, 150 pretty much, right? Breaking out of this little high type flag, flat top base, whatever you want to call this. Definitely one of your top leaders in that cybersecurity group, right? GH, another nice sideways consolidation setup, right? You're building a nice little flat base. A push above today's highs would be interesting. That would be a higher low, right? You held above, I'm pretty sure, the low 125 and then 125.12 today. So you held above, you have a chance for a higher low, right? Your initial low, here's a higher low, and then another possible higher low here. Inside day tomorrow, a push above the prior day high, just breaking out of this little flag, little flat base would be super interesting. So that's definitely what I'm keeping an eye on. Marvell, one of your leading stocks that, yes, semiconductors, yes, extended, but you know, you're still under the highs, and you're sort of building some sort of little V a little cut base. So maybe a few more days here sideways would be interesting, but I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see this name get going. Definitely one I want to continue to keep an eye on. Octa. Oops, I can't spell. Octa. Is this a wick play setup? Maybe. A push above Thursday's high would be super interesting. We'll see how it opens up tomorrow, but continue to watch this name for some sideways, maybe when the whole group is ready to get going. Definitely something I want to continue to keep an eye on. I think it looks really good, though. And I mean, it's holding up super well compared to the rest, so you got a nice weekly chart. So don't want to give up on this name just yet. You do got some overhead supply in a lot of these ones. That's why I like DDOG the best out of all of them, right? You're at all-time highs, but definitely want to keep an eye on them. Octa, I think, doesn't look too bad. So a push above this little 119, I guess you could say 120-ish area. I'm pretty much watching Thursday's highs, though. See how we can act an inside day tomorrow, maybe. Would be interesting. Rocket Lab, I talked about Soxel. Short vehicle for a possibility of a failure. Maybe a gap up or maybe a failure below VWAP, and everything's weak, and I'm trying to look for a vehicle. Definitely something I want to keep an eye on. WDC, one of the more extended memory names. If this one can maybe continue blowing off, another gap up day would be super interesting. I don't think it's down very too much in the after hours. Well, SanDisk and your MU are down just a little bit there in the after hours, so super interesting. We'll see what can happen. You got a left side peak to work with, so maybe a failure up there, you know, a breach and failure, an uppercut one day, and then a failure the next day. Just something I'll keep an eye on. Maybe this name is going to want to blow up. Another one where pretty massive chart and pretty unreal move. So maybe some cool off for a few weeks, and maybe it can give you a spot to short. But I don't want to just jump in front of these every single day and try to short these, and eventually one time it'll stick me. I'd rather wait for the setup to get a little bit better here. I don't think it's just there yet, but definitely a vehicle I want to pay attention to. So we will see what can come for that. I think Qualcomm is another maybe slightly interesting name. You're starting to build out sideways here above the 10 and 20 after a nice undercut and rally at the bottom here. Nice double bottom shakeout. You're kind of building a double bottom base. We'll see. Dell, another interesting. Maybe you get another one where you kind of got a wick play after an earnings gap up. So it's interesting for sure. Definitely want to keep an eye on these names. ARM I talked about. That's pretty much going to be it for me, but I appreciate you guys all for watching. I'll catch you in tomorrow's video. Peace.